Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I was just starting off a Doctor Who marathon. I'm finally watching the original Doctor Who episodes, the ones that I have, and right as I'm sitting down, I see there's a new trailer for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So I'm like, no, I'm not watching it. It's going to ruin it. No, I'm just going to keep watching Doctor Who. I'm not going to let this trailer ruin it. And I realised, wow, how sad it is. Something I used to get excited about and look forward to, like a Star Trek trailer for a new series, is now something that can ruin an evening. So I didn't watch it. I watched a whole bunch of Doctor Who and I went to sleep and I got up and I thought, you know what, just get it out of the way now before you start your next day of Doctor Who episodes. So I watched it. It was pretty much the same as the other trailers. And I do feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with Star Trek at this point where they're not even promising not to hit me anymore, but I keep coming back because of when it used to be good, because I still feel like it could still be good, maybe. But then I just get hit again. And yeah, it starts off really good. They're talking, they have a voiceover from number one saying, people say, space is dark and everything, but, we're here to find the light and, find the warmth and find the humanity and everything. I thought, this sounds good. Are they going to have a change if they realise Star Trek is actually about light and hope and exploration and brightness and joy and, just the joy of exploration and everything? And then we get the Carol Kane character saying, there is evil in this universe just as there is good, in the show a spot of Kirk to remind us we're bringing Kirk back, even though I was going to say he shouldn't be here, but this is not the same universe as the other Star Trek. So it doesn't matter. Kirk could have been anywhere at this point. The whole universe is basically all parallel at some point. No, it's fine. I don't care about the canon issues anymore because they've established this is a different timeline and possibly a different universe from the original canon Star Trek. So that doesn't bother me anymore. They can do whatever they want. What bothers me is changing the ideals of Star Trek and the idea that there is evil, that there are some aliens and species that are just evil. No, the original Star Trek taught us that all these beings, all these races have their own side of the argument, like the Gorn. In the Gorn, in the original Star Trek, we were in their space, they were defending their space. They were worth saving, and Kirk didn't kill him when he had the chance. And they found an understanding. In this show, the Gorn are just monsters. They're just xenomorph knockoff monsters that just have to be stopped at all costs. And it's reduced Star Trek to this goodies versus baddies level of just base mentality, for the general audience, because they can't think in terms of, and especially Americans, they can't think in terms of people having depth or sides or different sides of an argument. They're just, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, we just want to see the good guys win over the bad guys so we can go out into our lives and perpetuate that sort of tribal whatever thinking that is. So this trailer plays with that. We see, Kirk saying we see Pike saying we have to stop this invasion and a bunch of battles. We do see a couple of different ships. It looks like it's either a ship with two saucer sections, or it's two Constitution ships flying so closely together that they look like one ship with two nacelles. I keep saying nacelles, because we're used to multiple nacelles. We don't get many multiple saucers, but multiple saucers. And we do see another ship that is badly damaged. Maybe they're just pairing up with that one like the NX did in Enterprise. But I'm hoping we get some different ship formations. That's not the right term, but I can't find it. But so we see Spock punching Corby in the face because obviously he's jealous because this Spock is emotionally, I still don't understand what they're doing with him, because Spock didn't have emotions. I mean, had emotions in the cage because they hadn't worked out yet to give him the non-emotional role after number one was removed. They still think that Spock had emotions in this era, and he didn't. He was just as in control of them in this as he was. He was more in control of his emotions then, and embracing his humanity, something that came later. They've got it reversed, where he's like this kid who doesn't know how to control his emotions, this teenager who doesn't know how to control his emotions, trying to be around humans and not get emotionally triggered. That's not who Spock is. That's not who Spock was. And we see another example of that here, of another example of they don't know who this character is and they're doing it the wrong way. We see just silly little personal dramas like Uhura dating the navigation chick, I can't remember her name. Ortega's, is it? I can't remember her name. Her brother's on the ship, and they're like, "Oh, you don't mind me hanging out with your little brother?" She's like, "No, of course not. Of course they hook up, you know." So little things like that. But yeah, so the Enterprise looked decent. We saw some shots, some beauty shots, some bright lights, some battle. Looks like the Enterprise is going to use its shields to ram through a ship or something. So we might get something worth watching on that level. But for the most part, it's just the same. We don't really know Star Trek. We're aiming for the base masses, and that's what this Star Trek is. Bordering on parody, just trying to keep the masses happy, not actually caring about canon, lore, or the original fans or anything. So there's those issues, and like I said, I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with Star Trek, and I was hoping it could be like it was before, but all I got was slapped around for a minute and a half, and it reminded me why I shouldn't go back. So yeah, that's my review for the trailer. My thoughts on the series. There was a D7 that looks exactly like a D7, except the engines are a tiny little bit off, but that's fine. We have seen that elsewhere in the series since the mistake Discovery made. I really think they should just redo some of the visual effects in Discovery and make it canon with the rest of the series. Do a little bit of a special edition on Discovery and help it, fit in with the rest of the universe a little bit better. Now the copyright issues are not there, and they don't have to really, really stick to the 25% thing anymore because the separate companies can't sue each other anymore because they're all under the same parent company. That was an issue back in the original first couple of seasons of Discovery. But this is becoming a longer trailer, but there's not much else to mention. We saw some Klingons, like one with a whip, I think, and I think there's some zombie creatures. But the idea of having monsters, again, it just belittles humanity by reducing aliens to monsters, and perpetuates racism and otherism, and that's something Star Trek never did and was better than, and apparently this Star Trek isn't. And it's probably something they're going to play more into now that, Trump is pushing the FCC to make Star Trek a woke example of Paramount in stopping them from getting the contracts with Skydance sorted out. So they did re-edit stuff, maybe reshot stuff. It's a bit messy, but yeah, the trailer, like I said, started good, lost me. Not surprised. Oh, the end, it had the stupid joke that we're supposed to think is so great. We have Spock teaching another Vulcan how to do the high five with the down low too slow. It was just cringe. And then at the end they have a shot of Pike laughing like, we're so clever. And I'm like, I'm going to go back to Doctor Who.